Good morning, everyone. I am Angel Chipatoy. Today, I want to talk about a topic that may seem controversial, but is an important discussion to have. Are grades an accurate representation of learning? Now, I know some of you may be thinking, of course they are. Grades are the ultimate measure of how well we've learned something. But, hear me out. Firstly, let's define what grades are. Grades are a numerical representation of how well we've performed on a test, exam, or assignment. They're meant to reflect our understanding of a subject, our proficiency in a skill, or our ability to apply knowledge in a practical setting. But here's the thing. Grades don't always accurately reflect our learning. Think about it. Have you ever studied hard for an exam only to find out that you didn't do as well as you had hoped? Or have you ever received a low grade or an assignment despite feeling like you put in a lot of effort? It's happened to the best of us. And it's not because we're not smart or capable. It's because grades don't take into account the many factors that can affect our performance. For instance, some people may struggle with test anxiety, which can cause them to perform poorly on exams, even if they know the material inside out. Others may have learning disabilities that make it harder for them to process information in a traditional classroom setting. And let's not forget about the students who have to work part-time jobs or take care of family members, which can leave them with less time to study. Furthermore, grades don't always reflect our true understanding of a subject. Think about a time when you've studied for a test only to forget the information a week later. That's because grades are often based on short-term memory rather than long-term understanding. And let's be real, how many of us have looked up answers on Google or Wikipedia rather than actually learning the material? So, what's the solution? Should we just get rid of grades altogether? Well, that's not necessarily the answer. But we do need to find a way to make grades a more accurate representation of learning. One way to do this is by implementing a more holistic approach to assessment. Instead of just relying on numerical grades, we could include other forms of assessments, such as project-based learning, peer review, and self-assessment. This way, we can get a more well-rounded picture of a student's learning. We can see how they apply their knowledge in real-world scenarios, how they work with others, and how they reflect on their own learning. And by doing so, we can create a more inclusive and effective learning. Inclusive and effective learning environment that values diversity and individuality. In conclusion, grades are not always an accurate representation of learning. They're just one tool that we use to measure our progress. But they don't take into account the many factors that can affect our performance. By implementing a more holistic approach to assessment, we can create a learning environment that values diversity, inclusivity, and true understanding. So, let's work together to make grades a better reflection of our learning and not the other way around. Thank you.